and welcome to another episode of Hot Off the List. I'm Mr. Jonathan, and I'm here with Miss Michelle, and we have a special guest today. Taryn Souders is a children's author whose books include Holy Cow, Fractions Are Fun, Dead Possums Are Fair Game, and How to Almost Ruin Your Summer. She's a former middle school math teacher, a voracious reader, and a Texas native who lives in Florida. Today, we're talking about Coop Knows the Scoop, a middle grade murder mystery about Cooper Goodman, a plucky kid who has to work with his friends and defy the adults in his life to keep his grandfather from becoming suspect number one in a murder investigation. Hi, Taryn. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, and good morning, and thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here.
We're so excited to talk about your book today.
Well, nothing's more exciting than talking about murder on a Monday.
It's true, absolutely. And congratulations on Coop Knows the Scoop being named to the Sunshine State Young Reader List for Florida for this year. Tell us what that's like when you find that out.
Oh my word, I never get any work accomplished on days where like state award lists are announced. It was so exciting. And anytime a book makes a state award list, it's exciting for the author. But when it's your home state, it's doubly exciting. So I remember, squealing and just, I was actually volunteering at the library the day that list came out. So I remember hugging my librarian, and it was a lot of fun. With How to Almost Ruin Your Summer, that was the first time one of my books had made the list. And I remember just being over the moon. And it was just as exciting the second time around with Coop.
Awesome. What area of Florida are you in?
So I live in Mount Dora, which is this tiny little town kind of in Central Florida.
Oh, it's so beautiful there. I'm jealous.
Yeah, we love it here. It's getting bigger, which is kind of a bummer because you like that small town feel. But it's a beautiful town. It has great little art festivals. The downtown is adorable. There's literally like an ice cream parlor on every corner. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, there's nothing better than going into the little bookstores there and carrying your ice cream and going to get brunch. Very fun. Well, I'm wondering, your work has a lot of while reading it, it really reminded me of Capote and Eudora Welty and O'Connor or Faulkner. And I'm wondering, are you really influenced by Southern Gothic writers?
I am influenced by Southern lifestyle. That is definitely for sure. I've grown up in the South. I did a rather unfortunate stint in Colorado for 6 months where I realized it was just way too cold for me. And so that was the only thing that made it unfortunate. It's a beautiful state, but came back down south. So it's the Southern towns that tend to influence me. When it comes to writers who influence me, I would say Agatha Christie is a huge influencer, just because she's just the queen of mystery, and they're all intriguing. You don't get bogged down with these heavy details. You just read these stories and they're so fluid and they're so fun. And I love all of her characters.
Do you have a favorite Agatha Christie book?
I love Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile. Those two, just because they're characters. But Murder on the Orient Express, you have such a cast of characters to choose from. But the Death on the Nile, there's one character in particular, and of course I can't remember her name, but she's absolutely hysterical. Probably because she's not really with it a lot. She's usually busy having a drink of her choice to relax. And so just what she ends up saying is completely off the wall, and you never know what's going to come out when she's on scene in a book.
I know exactly who you're talking about because Angela Lansbury plays her in the movie.
She was, yes. And Angela Lansbury played her beautifully in the movie. And
Yes.
And that's great. Yeah. And of course, a lot of her books have been turned into movies, and as Hollywood does, they all take a little bit of a quirky spin on them. And this latest one with Murder on the Orient Express, pretty different from the book, but still very enjoyable. And it still has those strong elements of Agatha Christie in there.
You know they're making a Death on the Nile as well with Kenneth Branagh.
I did not know that. Oh, that's exciting. Yay, I will definitely be watching that.
So in Coop Knows the Scoop, Coop has a really close relationship with his grandpa. Did you have a close relationship with your grandfather?
I did when we were together, but we never lived in the same state. But it was a relationship when we got together. He was just a fun grandpa to hang out with. He was the kind where he would have us like dress up and we'd all put on like, stuff like this. And then we'd take family photos. And I love these glasses, mainly because they remind me of my grandfather. We would go, he lived in Arkansas. He and my grandmother lived in Arkansas for a while. And in obviously kind of like the hilly mountainous area. And he would break up all these leaves and find vines that were safe on trees for us to swing from, and we'd go swinging through them. He was a prankster. I would say my grandfather reminds me a lot of Burma actually in the story, because he just loved a good joke. And I think Burma is probably more like my grandfather than Gramps is, although I really like the relationship that Gramps and Cooper have.
So you live in Mount Dora now, and the town in the book is also a kind of a small town feel. And I'm wondering, is that how you grew up? Did you grow up in a small town like that?
I grew up I had spurts in small towns. So I was born in Dallas, which of course is not a small town. But when we moved, I was 10 years old. We moved from Texas up to Ohio at that point, it was a small town. It was called Powell, Ohio. And I think we had like one blinking light. It wasn't even a light that ever really changed colors. There was this little general kind of five and dime type store. There was a pizza place. It was just, you could ride your bike there. You didn't have to worry about anything. And it's grown. I actually have a friend I still have friends that live there, and they're like, you wouldn't even recognize it now. It's grown so much. But my childhood in Powell was so much fun. And that's where I really kind of learned to like that small town feel. Came back, I've lived in Denton, Texas, which in my mind, Windy Bottom is Denton. That's how I've pictured it. Because I just love Denton. It is such a great place. And you have this town square with an old courthouse, and the four sides of the square are filled with bookstores and antique shops and ice cream parlors and restaurants. And it's just so much fun. And so to me, that's the quintessential small town feel.
Awesome.
So this is your first mystery?
It is. It's my first mystery that I've written. I've read Lord knows how many.
and so what was the appeal to writing a mystery this time?
So I hadn't done it before, and I'd always loved mysteries. And to me, the challenge was, can I write something that can be solved? So I don't get too bogged down in science, because I'm not a science person. Can I write something that a reader can solve that is enjoyable to both adults and to kids? Because I mean, as an adult, I only ever read middle grade. I love middle grade fiction. It's so much fun. And so I wanted to create something that I would enjoy reading, that I would enjoy writing. And so it was definitely a challenge, because with all of my other books, I would put bits and pieces of my own life into those stories. I've never killed anyone. And so I don't have any experience in this. And so it was a lot of research, a lot of me going across the street to my neighbor, who is a deputy with Orange County, and knocking on the door and asking him questions like, how deep do I need to bury a body in order for a certain amount of decomp to occur? And he'd be like looking over my shoulder, like, do I need to go check on David? Is he okay? And I'm like, no, we're good. We're good. It was a lot of fun.
I love that. So you like mysteries. I'm wondering, what are you reading right now?
So I am reading, because I absolutely love her stuff, Lisa Lewis Tyre. I love The Last in a Long Line of Rebels. I read it like every year. And I also like Her Hope in the Holler. I just finished Charlie Thorne and The Last Equation. Love that, because I really like Stuart Gibbs. And of course, I like James Ponti. So City Spies, any of those, again, middle grade. I don't know the last adult book I read.
I love that. His City Spies #2 just came out. Have you already caught up with that one?
I have not caught up with that one. I have, because I was reading the other stuff. It is on my list. It's actually in my pile. And then his third one, it's not released, but he just got the arcs for that. I mean, he's spitting those things out.
Exciting.
On a roll.
I'm proud of our Florida authors. So.
Right, that's right.
Well,
Something
I'm wondering,
water.
Michelle, do you have any more questions, or are we ready for a game?
I have one last question. So rumor has it that your husband is a beekeeper.
Yes.
Do you also participate in the keeping of bees with him?
I do participate in the keeping of the bees. They are very well-behaved bees. They're very good. I like to go out there. I will put on a veil, and it's not, he gets upset if I call it a bonnet. And he's like, it's not a bonnet. I'm like, well, there's that expression. There's a bee in your bonnet. He's like, call it a veil. And so I'll put on a veil. I'll sometimes put on those jackets that have all the gobbledygook on them for protection. It just kind of depends. Bees, the weather can affect them. So if it's a gray, windy day, I will definitely put on a jacket because they're not happy if it's gray and windy, and they'll get aggravated. But if it's sunny and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon when most of the bees are out foraging, I might just put on a veil. I usually am wearing jeans, so I don't go out there in shorts because that's just, I don't want to tempt too much fate. But I love going out there with the bees. I love helping him process the honey. I mean, or harvest it actually. He'll take it out and we stick it in a, what's it called? It has a technical name. It's not called the spinny deal, but it spins the honey. And then we right into the bottles. It's great.
I love that. My stepdad actually raised bees, and I'll tell you, we didn't have the spinny thing. The first season we harvested honey, and so we hung pantyhose from the ceiling, and we let it drip into buckets in the garage. But here's the thing: bees are smart, so they just came and got it all back, and so we came back, and the plates were dry.
Yes,
so it did not work out.
No, that would not work out. Well, what's amazing is after we have spun out as much honey as we can, and we've put it in the bottles, we will just take all the equipment out to the back porch and just leave it there. And in about 10 minutes, it's covered in bees, and they will clean that up for you lickety split. And I mean, you can go out, it's like looking in a mirror. It's so clean. I mean, he'll still hose it out and clean it out afterwards, but that kind of gives them a chance to get some of their resources back. But yeah, they'll sniff out that honey in no time.
That's so fascinating.
Love that, because in Florida, it's so important that we continue bees. I mean, bees are so important to the food cycle, and with pollinating oranges and all of those things, I think it's something that it's great for kids to learn about, because bees are really important to food and how we eat. And
one of these days I'll have to put bees in a story. I haven't done that yet, but I probably should.
Absolutely. Plus, eating local honey actually improves your allergies.
It does. It does.
All right. Well, we're talking about bees, but now we're going to move on to a new animal, because I hear that you have cats. Is that correct?
I do. We have 2 cats, Mordecai and Sebastian. Sebastian is a Hemingway, so he has extra toes. He went to the vet this morning and needs to go on a diet, so he's not real happy about that.
Don't all of our pets,
pounds.
I mean, we spoil them, right?
Yes. Well, it's so funny because our vet came in and he said, some cats are really good about monitoring their free eating. Your cat's not one of them. I said, oh.
Well, in honor of your cat, chubby or not, we are going to play a game called Cat Facts. And I am going to read each of you. Michelle has never heard these questions either. I'm going to read each of you a statement, and you will just tell me true or false. Okay? All right, let's go with Cat Facts. Cat Fact number 1. JFK was the first president to have a cat in the White House. True or false?
I say false.
I'm going to say true.
Okay. So Michelle, you say false. Who do you think might have been the first president to have cats?
Well, I just feel like Kennedy wasn't president until the early 60s. And I feel like there was a long time before that where a cat could have been there.
Can I amend my answer?
Okay, Taryn, go ahead.
Was it Roosevelt?
Well, actually, it was even further back. It was Abraham Lincoln had 2 cats, and he had a really bad habit of bringing in strays, and it really annoyed the servants in the White House.
I love that.
Right?
I like Lincoln even more.
All right, cat fact number 2. Cat people are more likely to be introverted. True or false?
Okay, I think that's a true statement.
It is true. Dog people are about 15% more extroverted than cat people, as is evidenced by hanging out with me and Michelle. She's a dog person. She could hang out all day. I'm a cat person. After about 2 hours, I'm like,
Totally,
all right.
I can see that. Yeah, we have a dog too, and so Charlie is very much the extrovert.
Cat fact number 3. There are 3 muscles that control a cat's outer ear. True or false?
Well, I feel like they're ignoring me no matter what, so I'm going to go with false.
Michelle?
I'm going to say true because I literally have no idea.
Actually, there are 32 separate muscles that control a cat's ear. Isn't that crazy?
What?
I know.
That is crazy.
I know. Now it makes sense why they're able to like angle it all around and stuff,
but
right?
it still doesn't explain why we get ignored all the time.
Oh, right? Okay. Cats make a wider variety of sounds than dogs. True or false?
True.
It is actually true. Dogs make about 10 distinct sounds, while cats make up to 100.
I believe that. I've been yelled at a lot by the cats.
Yeah, I feel like cats are sometimes I'm like, was that a word? Did you say a word?
There have been times and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I need to wash your mouth out with soap. Like that was, yeah. They can make their point.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. True or false? Cats are faster than Usain Bolt.
Are we talking cats, like domestic cats?
We're talking domestic cats.
So we can't go with a cheetah here.
I was trying to get technical.
I'm gonna say it's true just because our cats are fast. Like if something, it depends on what's chasing them, but they're pretty fast.
If it's 3 a.m., then
it's definitely fast.
Yeah. Michelle, what do you think? True or false?
I think false because Bolt is very fast.
He is very fast. In fact, he can run 44 kilometers per hour, but the domestic cat can run 48 kilometers per hour.
What? That's awesome.
I am not good at the cat facts.
That's because you're a dog person. That's
I'm a
okay.
dog person.
Okay, we have 3 more. All right. Cats see in black and white. True or false?
I've always heard that. True?
Taryn?
That's a really good point. I feel like dogs are colorblind, but I don't know about cats. I'll say false.
Correct. It is false. Cats can also perceive blue, purple, green, and yellow, which for me begs the question, how are they seeing the red dot?
Yeah. What color do they think it is?
I don't know. Isn't that interesting?
I didn't even think of the red dot, but yes, the red dot, we use the red dot all the time.
Yes. All right. True or false? Cats are smarter than dogs.
Well, a cat would say true.
I'm going to say true.
I mean, you can train a dog, you know? I mean, I guess you could train a cat if they felt like it, cooperating. I'm going to say false. Don't tell them I said that, though.
It is false. Cats have about half as many neurons in the cerebral cortex as dogs. So dogs are officially smarter. Right?
Wow.
All right. Here is our last cat fact. Okay. Cats were specifically bred to have better temperaments. True or false? It's a toughie.
I'm going to say false.
Okay, what do you think?
I don't think cats have good temperament.
Well, you are both correct. False. Scientists now believe that cats domesticated themselves over time because their genetic makeup is almost identical to their ancestors. So rather than evolving, cats modified their behavior after learning that humans were a potential food source. So they literally saw us and were like, oh, I'll just pretend to be nice.
That's right. That's right. Sebastian is yowling at the door. Do you want me to see if I can get him to come in real quick?
Yes!
Yeah, hold up. Oh, don't be so disagreeable. Oh, instead the dog comes. No. He ran off.
Oh, introvert.
Charlie's like, oh, did you want company? He's a Labrador, so of course he's just like,
Aw, very cute. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. And for all the kids and librarians watching, if you have not already read Coop Knows the Scoop by Taryn Souders, pick it up. It is great. It's a cozy little mystery. It has a little murder thrown in if you like your books a little bit dark. There's a kitty.
Harry, he just came. This is Sebastian. Sebastian, look, can you say hi?
Sebastian,
Hi,
the wing
Sebastian.
cat?
He's like,
Is Sebastian who went to the vet today?
Yeah.
Oh, my cat's chubbier than that, I think.
He's 16 pounds and his cat door is only meant for a 15-pound cat.
Oh, so he has kind of like wiggle through it.
Yeah.
He's like me getting into my work pants. The kids, pick up Coop Knows the Scoop by Taryn Souders. It is such a fun book, a great like Southern atmosphere, a little mystery, unforgettable characters that you will love to read the dialogue out loud to your friends. And thanks so much, Taryn.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun and I learned a lot about cats.
All right, bye-bye.